You know what's better than doing a mock draft so early?
What?
Doing 2 mock drafts so early.
You threw me off with that. I guess, yeah, that's a good one. There really is nothing better. It's my favorite episode.
Absolutely. I mean, come on.
I'm obsessed with doing mock drafts. I do about like 1,000 during the off season. You do 0, right?
Yes, I do 0. I run 2 leagues, so I'm always looking at projections and rankings and stuff like that. And plus, I want a little excitement. I get too bored.
I like to just do it for fun, where I'll literally just have a mock draft going, just try to build a certain team. I'm like, let me see how it'll go if I take this guy or this.
Yeah.
And then I'll have the TV on in the background, and I gotta wait for nighttime when the kids are sleeping. It gets me excited, man. So anyway, welcome to the Fantasy Wise Guys, where we make smart moves so you don't have to. Welcome to the family. We are your hosts. I am Mike Meals, Chef Mike Meals, whipping work, alongside the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, meet the mayor, Mr. Puma. There he is, Mr. 2 leagues. I'm running 2 leagues. I'm so cool, I run 2 leagues. Listen, I run a league too. And I'll tell you right now, people say that.
How's that going, by the way?
Listen, I love it, but it is kind of stressful, man. You know?
Oh, dude, especially if you have a real job, like, it's tough, man. It's tough getting on the same page with everyone, scheduling. You know, it's a very thankless job.
And you do the Dynasty one, right?
We do Keeper Legacy.
Yeah.
And then the other one I have is just a restart. But
yep.
yeah, it definitely gets taxing at times. But you know what? We're here for fun. We're here to have a good time. So let's do a little mock.
Yeah, so be sure to like, comment, and subscribe before you end up sleeping with the fishes. And remember, we might even be starting our own Dynasty League. So if you're one of our original followers, you know, one of our original subscribers, maybe we'll invite you. Drop a comment. Let us know. So, all right, let's pull up our last mock draft. So we're gonna go from the same one as the first time, right?
Absolutely.
So I had the 12th pick. I see it there.
Right,
I'm
you lead us off.
Brown. So I'm gonna start here. So on the turn. So, you know, now we're going with new news. It's been about a week and a half since we've had this one, 2 weeks. So I was thinking of going a wide receiver here, but being that it is so juicy at this point that I need to take a running back, and as I'm looking at it, since they haven't made many moves, I think that Josh Jacobs is due for another big year. So I will take him as my first pick to pair him with Amon-Ra St. Brown. And real quick, just to let you know why, last year set the record for himself, career high, 15 touchdowns in a year. The Packers are a running team. They love to move the ball. It gets cold over there in Green Bay. The weather gets crazy. They don't throw as much. And Josh Jacobs was a bruiser last year. So I think this year he's due for another big year. And why not pair him with somebody else who I know is guaranteed lock? So I'm going to go Josh Jacobs, my first pick.
Okay, in the second round.
Second round, first pick.
Right.
201.
Correct. So for the 202 pick, I'm on the clock now. And I'm looking at my options, right? On my roster right now, I do have a Nico Collins. I did take at pick number 11 overall. Right now, it's between 2 guys for me, right? I could double up on wide receiver because in this format, remember guys, we always want to know what format we're playing in. But for this mock, we're doing PPR. Right now, I'm staring down either Drake London, right, and have that ultimate 2-headed horse, and have 2 studs at wide receiver. Or I'm thinking of taking a running back here and having one of each.
Okay.
And that other running back is Bucky Irving. You know, he had a breakout season. He stole the job from Boring. And Bucky One-Tooth Irving seems very enticing to take here. So you know what, Mike? I'm going to go with the running back. I'm a running back guy. I'm going to pair him with Nico Collins, Suave Rico.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm going to talk a little bit about Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving had an absolute breakout season as a rookie. Mike, he was the number 15, finished the number 15th running back on this fantasy season of 2024. Broke out. You know how many games he started? 3.
How many? 3? Even behind Boring, he still finished as the 15.
he still finished as the 15. Numbers don't lie, people.
Yeah.
He played in 17, which is all of them, but started only 3 because for the first I would say, 10 or 12 games, dude, he was behind Boring, and he was still putting up numbers. This man had 65 yards rushing, averaging. Snaps, 45 percentage. Now, again, that is a little dicey to live with, being your RB1 here. But again, the talent is too much. I foresee him overtaking the role. He averaged 14.4 points per game. I'm going to take it. I'm going to roll with it. I got Nico Collins, and I'm going to pair him with Bucky One-Tooth Irving at the 202 slot.
I can't believe at his position, behind Boring, which is Rashad White, by the way, 1,100 rushing yards and 392 passing. That's receiving. That's amazing. Yeah, that's a good pick, Puma. I'll give it to you.
Gives me Alvin Kamara 2.0 vibes.
Yeah, and so that goes to the next pick. So for the third pick of the second round, in the first round for this team, I took Devon Achane. A lot of boom potential there. I liked it. And I'm going to do the same type of thing with a receiver. I'm looking for boom potential here. Somebody that can exceed expectations. And somebody last year that I drafted in the 8th round. But now he's going to go second round. He finished as the wide receiver 4 last year. My man, Mr. Brian Thomas Jr., second-year man, 22 years old. They got rid of all their pieces, which means that they are highly confident in building the offense around Brian Thomas. And for me, I feel like he was really overshadowed coming into the league because he was behind Malik Neighbors at LSU. And in terms of production, he ended up torching him. I don't want to say torching, but he surpassed him. And last year, 1,282 yards, 10 touchdowns, big play guy, absolute monster. And, you know, let's see, he had an 85-yard catch, 62-yard catch, 56-yard, 58-yard, 66, big play guy. And this is the type of guy you want on your team with boom potential. And Trevor Lawrence coming back, I have to think that this new coach is really gonna make sure that they put the ball in Brian Thomas' hands. And he actually even did say that they were gonna highlight him and make him the target of the offense. So I'm going with Brian Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, who else are they throwing to over there? I like the pick, love the pick, and he's from LSU. You know he's a dog. Dog. Okay, so I am on the clock with the 204 pick. This is my pairing with Derrick Henry, I believe, the king. And you know what? I talked about him before. I never really liked him coming out of USC, but opportunity has presented itself. And I truly do believe that this is the breakout season for young Drake. The bridge is falling London.
Wow.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I really like him this year, which is a guy that I really hadn't liked in the past. I felt like with Kirk Cousins, he loved Darnell Mooney and other cast of characters. And I felt like, maybe Kyle Pitts would have got a shot with Mr. Kirk Cousins. Obviously, that didn't happen. But once Michael Penix came in, he heavily targeted the Mr. Drake London. Mike, on the 2024 season fantasy finish, he finished as the wide receiver 6. You can't leave those numbers on the board.
Let me see.
17 games played.
Yeah, I mean...
Come on, 90% snap percentage, right? Receptions, averaging 5 per game.
He had a quiet wide receiver 6. To be honest, he's a guy that I was never really targeting, and even last year I was kind of away from him.
He's sneaky.
But yeah, with the quarterback Michael Penix now changing in there, he could be sneaky. Let's see. He had 1271.
You know whose vibes he's giving off to me? And for you old school fantasy players out there, Andre Johnson from the Houston Texans.
He's big, 6'4", 215.
And it's mostly because of the size.
Yeah.
Andre Johnson wasn't really the flashy type of player. You know, you were taking Larry Fitzgerald over him in fantasy drafts. You were taking Terrell over Ocho Cinco. But at the end of the day, Andre Johnson got the job done with a lot of quarterback carousels. But this young gentleman, he has Michael Penix. I think the sky's the limit. And I think he's a great pick at this 204. You pair him with Derrick Henry, and away we go.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I mean, they've been saying it from day one that he's got massive potential, and it showed last year. So now with I guess I have the fifth pick of the second round. So, man, I wish I could go back in time, but you can't. And that's why doing way too early mock drafts, you kind of learn. So the first pick I took for this team was Malik Neighbors. That was the 8th pick of the first round. So now I have the second pick of the 5th round. Listen, I'll stick with Neighbors. I'll keep it. But I'm looking at some running backs here. I think that I can end up sleeping on a couple and holding off. It's too juicy of an opportunity to pass up on a guy I see on the board. And I'm going to have to start with 2 wide receivers and go with another PPR monster. I got to go Puka Nacua here.
Oh.
Puka Nacua from the Rams. I mean, and this is a guy from 2 years ago that I picked up from free agency week 1. This was somebody that, nobody knew was going to break out. But as we know, they got Devontae back. They got Devontae there. They got Matt Stafford back. Sean McVay loves Puka. He loves to build the offense around his guys, and he's healthy. So I can't imagine that he's not going to have an outstanding year again. And for that reason, I mean, you already know about him. I'm going to have to – I just want to see real quick because he was injured last year for the first 8 or 9 weeks, I think. So his finish is a little deceiving, but he still finished at the wide receiver 25 with only 11 games played. And even at that, he was only 10 yards away from 1,000 yards, 990 in 11 games. So just imagine if he would have played that whole time. And 14 targets, 9 targets, 8 targets, 14 targets, 8 targets, 13, 9, 14. You get the picture. The guy gets high volume production, and he's a dog. So Puka Nacua, my 5th pick for the 6th round. 5th pick of the 2nd round. Pair him with Malik Neighbors.
He's going to be He's going to be doing that a lot.
I've been doing that. It's late. We've been working like 14 hours.
Right. So we were at the 206.
Yeah, 206.
Okay, just want to make everybody aware. My first pick was Kyron Williams. And, Mike knows I'm no stranger to throwing curveballs. So for my next pick, right, I could go a lot of routes here, right? I could go the Trey McBride route, right? I could go did we take Brock Bowers? No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Brock Bowers is still on the board. The 2 tight ends. I could go Jackson Smith and Jigba here with Scam Darnold. But you know where I'm going to go? I'm going to throw the ultimate sweeping slider. I'm going Mr. Josh Allen.
Oh, I was going to
The reigning MVP, baby.
Killed me.
And my man just got paid 4 days ago, agreed on a 6-year, $330 million contract, $250 guaranteed.
Great.
My man is set up for him and his new wife, Haley Stein. But I think this is a great pick, and here's why. Not only because he was last year's MVP. What more could you say? He was the quarterback 4 finish on the season. But Mike, you have a guy that touches the ball 100% of the time. Every time they take the ball. Drake and Josh. Because, we did Drake London before.
I
so
like
Josh,
that. Drake and Josh.
I just made it up now.
Yeah,
Anyway, so Josh Allen touches the ball on every snap. And who did they add? Really, all they added was Josh Palmer Avenue. Really not much to speak of. And they re-signed Shakira. So they have the same tools there and added a number 3 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Who's to say he cannot repeat the same? Look at the division this man is in. The Jets, our Jets, that can't stop anybody. Maybe an up-and-coming New England Patriots and Miami Dolphins. It's safe to say I think Josh Allen is the best quarterback, if not in the league, in that division, and he's going to terrorize them.
Dude, it's such a good pick. And honestly, for me, there's only 2 guys, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Those are the only 2 quarterbacks that I would think of taking this
early. Yeah.
And they are hands because the amount of points that they score compared to your next tier of quarterbacks, they are in their own separate realm. And you're right, these are absolute locks that lineup starts every week. You don't have to worry about quarterback.
Right. If we like to use the term plug and play, right? And every Sunday, other than a bye, right? You don't have to have another quarterback on your roster, right? When it's time for Josh Allen to have his bye, Sure, you pick up a streamer and you go with a Michael Penix or what have you, right? Geno Smith, maybe in the season. But right now, this number 2 pick, you're all in on the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. The man had 379 points. Put some respect on his name. He's a second-round pick, if not a first.
Oh,
Move on.
Absolutely, man. And that was a great pick. And honestly, I'm kind of, because I was looking at Josh Allen, I'm not going to lie. That's who I was considering doing for this round. But being that you did it, now let's see. The next play, second round. What do I have? 7th pick.
I have a habit of doing that, team.
You do, yeah. You know, me and Puma.
Even in fake drafts, I do that.
Me and Puma, and the actual real drafts that we've had in the last 2 years, we were literally right behind each other. And he sniped me on Jaden Daniels. He sniped me on Jordan Mason. He sniped me on. Well, actually,
Goff.
I ruined myself. Yeah, Goff. I ruined myself on Chase Brown because I took Warren ahead of him. I ended up getting Chase Brown back because you had to drop him for Bucky, and then so anyway, I mean, it's funny. It just works out that way, and you've got it. And that's a big thing. You have to know your opponents, know who's in your league and what their habits are, and that can help you, get a little ahead of your draft picks. So anyway, I have the second. I see. I did it again. I have the 7th pick of the second round. The first round, I took my man Jay Jetta, Justin Jefferson. So, since I'm not going to go Josh Allen, and I'm looking at running backs and wide receivers right now, I don't see anybody that notable that I think I'd want to take over this man right here. I talked about him last episode as my winner from free agency trades, Brock Bowers. I'm taking Brock Bowers. You know what his production was last year. He was a tight end 1. He's got Geno Smith now. I think he's an absolute lock at tight end. You're not going to have to worry about it the whole season, and that's a onesie position that you're going to fill right away. I'm not going to draft another tight end. I'm not going to take one for the rest of the draft, but I'm going to start with those 2 elite players that command targets that I know will catch the ball for PPR. So Brock Bowers and Justin Jefferson, I'm going to pair them together, and I like that pick.
I like that for you, Michael. And I'm at, what, 208?
Michael. Only my mom and my wife call me Michael. And Len.
This is 208?
Tired. Yeah, 208.
Okay, so last time I was on the board, first round, I took Bijan Robinson. Now we have to pair him with someone. Mike, I surprised you last time. I threw you 1 curveball, but you know what's better than 1 curveball? 2 curveballs.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm going with Jaden Daniels.
Oh, Jesus.
The pride of LSU. We're going quarterback here. And I'm going to pair him with Bijan Robinson. Mike, this man had 355 points last year in fantasy. Where are you going to get that production? I know people say wait on quarterback. I totally get it. But at the same time, Mike, we just talked about it. Look who's on the board at that time. Can you trust a CMC? Can you really trust a George Pickens? Can you trust a Jackson Smith and Jigba? Because that's the potential risk that you're facing, and decision making is a better word, that you're going to have in your drafts mid-second round to early third round. Absolutely. So why not take a known commodity? Why not take a Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, or Lamar Jackson? Yeah, okay, could I think of Burrow? Burrow is more a risk because he doesn't run as much, right? I know you love him. I love him. He's like my number 1 quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah.
But if we're talking fantasy, because this is what this show is about, I'm going Jaden Daniels, the dual threat quarterback. He was number 5 on the fantasy season of 2024. I love it. What do you think? He's got Deebo Samuel now. I love it.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, honestly,
Deebo. Oh.
It's funny because it leads me to my next pick. So now I have the 9th pick of the second round. So my first round, I drafted CeeDee Lamb. 2 years ago, this tandem, so the second guy I'm about to name, with this tandem with CeeDee Lamb, they destroyed me in a championship game 2 years ago. And similar to what Puma said, I'm looking at the board right now and I do not see any other running back or wide receiver or tight end that I want to draft over Lamar Jackson, which is why I'm going to make Lamar Jackson my pick. I said it earlier, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson to me were the only two viable quarterback options that I would take in the first 3 rounds. And being that I'm seeing now my opponents, somebody took Josh Allen, somebody took Jaden Daniels.
You're adapting.
I have to adapt a little bit here.
Now we got a quarterback running.
Lamar was the quarterback one
early
last year.
Mid-second round.
He did score more than Jaden Daniels, but Puma was kind of projecting. He knows that Jaden Daniels has a lot of potential this year. That was his first year.
Right.
Now with more weapons, he could surpass Lamar Jackson. So I'm not saying anything about the amount of points, but he was the quarterback one last year. 430 points. Threw for a season high or a career high touchdowns, 41 touchdowns, and he's Lamar Jackson. And being that I do not want to take anybody else over him, I feel like that is the pick. So I'm going to pair him with CeeDee Lamb, who those two, that tandem will forever haunt me. But this time I get it to pay somebody else back. So go ahead. You're next. 10th pick.
All right, this is 210. Yeah, it's 210.
Yeah, second 10. So
who's my first pick was Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, my boy.
Stud, baby back Gibbs. I'm at 210 now, and right now my decision making is I'm looking at either Jonathan Taylor, right? He's still on the board, running back, or I'm looking at CMC, right? Christian McCaffrey, obviously we spoke about it a lot. Had that calf strain. It's been nagging him. We don't know if he's going to come back to the same CMC that we knew and love. But you know what? I'm going to play it safe here. I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor, double up my running backs. My RB2 right now could be my RB1 or vice versa. I love it. Jonathan Taylor ham and egg.
It's a great pick.
Right?
Absolutely.
Straight Wisconsin product. I mean, my dude is a dog and literally won people fantasy championships in week 17. Literally put them on his back. I mean, he was the running back 9 last year, right? Played in 14 games. Fantasy points 237. What more could you ask for? 303 attempts. Rushing yards 1431. I mean, Mike, no brainer.
It is a monster pick, and honestly, like that's the type of thing that you have to do in these drafts, man. You gotta sometimes go with your gut. And for me, like now we're coming on the turn, so that's where you want to pay attention and know like who's your opponent ahead of you, because he's gonna have 2 picks in between you and them. Look at his team. So this is the 11th pick I'm about to make for the second round. I picked Jamar Chase, the first pick. My opponent picked Saquon Barkley. So Saquon Barkley, he's got a running back. So he might go RB wide receiver. He might go wide receiver QB. He might go, QBTE. You never know. But know your opponent. See what you might be missing, who you can hold out on, and who you don't want to risk. So this is a tough one because I'm also getting stuck at a point where like I'm seeing a lot of the valuable guys go, and this pick is crucial. So for me, I'm feeling like there's certain guys that I know that he's gonna sleep on. So I'm gonna go. Jamar Chase was my first pick. I'll tell you right now, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I think I'm getting him at a discount. And a lot of people didn't want to give him a chance this year. But being that it's a mock draft and being that I saw some things I like, I'm gonna have to go with my man Garrett Wilson.
Whoa! Oh my God! Damn, I should be selling used cars. I swear to God.
And honestly, I was considering Tyreek Hill, but knowing that my opponent, who I'm assuming would be Puma, right? Let's just say in this scenario, I don't want to miss out on him, and I think he's due for a breakout year. Last year, he was a first-round pick. This year, he's falling to almost the 3rd round. If I can get him here and then snag a running back on the way back, I'm in good form. And Garrett Wilson, we're projecting to have a monster year, hoping that he can duplicate something that was similar to Garrett Wilson or to DJ Moore and Justin Fields 2 years ago. I think Garrett Wilson's the play. I was looking at Tyreek Hill. I'm not going to lie. I was looking at him. But I don't see Tyreek Hill, or I was also looking at A.J. Brown. These are attitude changes, guys that I don't really like in their situation right now. And I'm really confident in Garrett Wilson, so I'm going to make that ballsy pick, and that's who I'm going with.
I like it. I like it.
You don't even like it, do you?
No, that was a lie. I don't like it.
You don't even like
No,
it.
I like Garrett Wilson going into 2025, but that's too rich. The whole point was the ADP of taking him 5 and beyond. But you know what?
He ain't going to go that far, I don't think. But I could have probably waited on him. And
No,
honestly,
I say low fourth round, early 5.
You think you would have took Tyreek over him?
Well, seeing how we're coming into this year, right now, Tyreek for me is fading just because of the injury he's coming back from.
Yeah, and the age.
I feel the age, and also too, I feel the prominent target has really truly become Jonas Smith.
Jonnu Smith, yeah.
Jonnu Smith,
definitely.
the tight end. I think he's become a factor. But moving on to my pick, right? We're the last pick of the second round.
Yeah.
So this means I get double picked.
You would get double, yeah.
Okay. So I am going to go with my next pick, who a guy I had last year, but I had to give him up to get my boy Bucky Irving. And this man right here picked him up, but I was screaming Kyren Williams 2.0, Mr. Chase Brown. We're going to make at that 212 pick. He was a sleeper last year. Loved him coming into camp. I loved him over Zach Moss.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And a lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people didn't even know Chase Brown, but I saw glimpses of Kyren Williams. That's my biggest comp to him. Myke, 2024 season, he finished as the 14th RB. That was great value out of a guy you got in double-digit rounds last year. Total sleeper. Total points, I mean, the man had 228 rushing yards, 990, almost at 1,000 for a guy taken in rounds 9 and above and beyond.
So you would take him over James Cook, obviously.
Yes.
You're going to take him over CMC.
Yes.
Take him over Breece Hall and Ashton Genty.
Yes.
Hey, man. Joe Mixon.
Yes. Because I believe
that's
that
a good pick.
In this draft, Cincinnati is going to, and this is my reason why, is going to shore up that offensive line. You still got Mr. Joe B there, Joe Burrow. And I truly believe T. Higgins will not start the season with the Cincinnati Bengals. He has that tag. I can't see them paying him and Jamar Chase. So if Jamar Chase is the weapon left there on the outside, you know who I could start seeing getting more receiving yards? Mr. Chase Brown. And again, my projections are built off of projections. A lot of people will say, well, you know, like you did. Oh, you know, Puma, you know, you would take him over all these other players. Yes, because I project him going up and being an RB3 in the near future. Again, way too
That was
early.
a little too rich for me. Sound familiar? But listen, that's the whole point, is that you never know. And honestly, sometimes I look at Puma's picks and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But it's proven to be right because we are successful at this. We've been doing this a long time. Puma mentioned earlier, multiple leagues. So these are things, and they're way too early mock drafts. So we are just getting a feel for it, seeing what's going on, seeing what our opponents are doing. I think it was an awesome pick, and that definitely was a curveball there. You've thrown a couple of curveballs.
I threw like
Throw
3
one
or 4
more, and
of
I'm
them.
going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, that's when you start throwing the high heater.
So, I mean, dude, we've been filming all day. We got a lot of stuff done for you guys. I mean, listen, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment before you end up sleeping with the fishes. Again, we want to know what you think. So tell us. Thanks again for being with us.
Yeah, hey, listen, we had a ball, and this is our second mock draft, second round. We're going to have plenty for you going forward. But again, this is way too early. But just to get those muscle exercises, get you guys thinking, fantasy, it never sleeps. We're always out there, and we're here to help you master your game, like we say.
We are the Fantasy Wise Guys. Thanks for stopping in, guys. Master your game.
Later.